Whether you are having love marriage or arranged marriage, problems will always be there. Take it from a married man. It will always be there. The wisdom is how you put up with it, how you respond to every situation in a positive way.
So it's a sign when people start demanding, start putting conditions, stay away from them. See, life has not started, the relationship has not even built up, you are not even married, but before that you want to put conditions. Forgive me, my darling. We remain friends, but we cannot get along. This is honesty, see. But to expect that she is going to change and she'll look after my mother also and my father also. But she already told you she doesn't want to be part of them. A person who refuses you, you go after that person so often. But a person who is easily available, you say, oh no, there must be something wrong with this person. Right? So part of it is also ego. That hook or crook, I have to win this person. And then when you build a relationship with such an ego, how long will this ego last? Fulfillment of ego will last. Immediately, with the success of having a relationship with a person you are attracted towards, you'll be happy, but it will not last longer because opposite may attract, but eventually these opposites will crumble. Because I cannot live with a person who is having opposite views all my life. In the physical world, in the science, they say North Pole, South Pole. Opposite poles attract, anode and cathode, positive and negative charge. It's true in the physical realm. In the emotional realm, opposites will attract also, but it's only temporary, only to be repaired again. So we have to be patient with the kind of partner we're going to have and make sure there is some sort of a resonance, there is some sort of a vibratory level that matches yours. With relationship also, as it is bouncing and improving all the time, one has to be even more careful how not to destroy that relationship, how not to spoil that relationship. It demands more and more to keep it alive. We take it for granted that, why further speak about it? We take things for granted, that this will continue forever. No. If you don't make efforts, then what happens? The law, the general law, the natural law, the divine principle kicks in. Unless you make effort, the whole system goes into entropy. It tends to disintegrate. More and more efforts are required to prevent it from decaying. So criticism or different opinions give us perspective of our life, where we are going wrong. It gives us the opportunity to adjust very quickly if we take it in a positive way. Otherwise, there is tension. Moreover, you don't change. You are only fueling the differences in the process you do in the relationship. Instead of waiting for similar opinions to feed your ego, etc., tell your partner, always let me know where I go wrong. That should be the preconditions before marriage. When we go on expecting things in our relationship from the other, what happens? When that expectation is not fulfilled, we think less of the other person. Over a period of time, this relationship somehow it's strained simply out of this expectation. How do we apply a scientific principle in this relationship? Let's consider the aspect of entropy in physics. In physics, entropy is the degree of disorder or randomness in the system. The second law of thermodynamics says that entropy increases with time. It reflects the instability of a system over a period of time if there is nothing to stabilize it. When you enter a room of your son or a daughter who is just 5, 6 years old, 10 years old, you bring one toy, you bring second toy, you bring third toy. Books are lying everywhere. What happens if there is no help from our side as parents to fix this? Keep the toys in right places, keep the clothes in right places, put books in proper places. Some effort is required to make the place neater and clean. Somebody has to do it. External input is required to fix things in order. In human relationships, entropy also develops if there is nothing to bring order to it. We have interactions day after day, and we let things build up inside us. We keep harboring things, and one day we explode, unless we do something about it. We need input to stabilize any relationship, to iron out the wrinkles or differences, so that we don't harbor and store things forever. But do we really need constant input to bring stability and maintain a relationship? That would be a high maintenance relationship that you have to fuel so much. You have to make adjustment all the time. When constant input is required every time there is a fight or tension with a friend or family member, you will require greater input each time. Imagine you come late at home and you have to justify to your spouse, honey, I'm sorry, I have stuck somewhere because whatever. Second time it happens, third time it happens. And we have to go on saying whatever be the reasons. But in true relationships, you just mention what has happened, and that is enough. There is no defense, but only description of what has happened. In a family, if you have to tolerate each other, then constant input is required. In situations where you have to give constant emotional input, it is a broken family, even though you may be together. In true relationship, it is not the tolerance that rules the life, but acceptance of each other, which is arising out of love, mutual love. In such a state of love, where things are taken for granted, you don't need explanations. You don't have to speak lies. You don't need to manipulate any reasons. So it is the love that you have in your heart, that is the input that stabilizes relationships. Love brings a greater level of acceptance. From where does this love come? From a pure heart. From a truthful, genuine heart. In families where we are taught to love, to sacrifice, to accept, to remain pure, we are able to let go of everything. We can remove the incompatibility by understanding this principle of entropy. When heart is at rest, heart is content, heart is in love, it doesn't question anything, doesn't demand anything. Suppose you don't accept certain situation, then what happens? There is a problem, there is a situation, and you say, no, I will not accept this situation. Fine. There's another way of looking at it, and you say, okay, let me see. Suppose I accept this situation. Then you will study the situation, why you are accepting it. Secondly, you will learn something out of the situation. But if you snap out and say, I will not accept this, then you will not be able to study the situation. And secondly, you will not learn anything out of this. You will not become wiser. And on top of that, you will strain the relationship. So, to arrive at such a state of the heart which accepts, which loves, which remains content in a state of compassion, this is possible only when I go deep within my heart, touch the real conscience, feel that real conscience all the time. Allow that conscience to rule our life. When one transcends all these differences within oneself as well as within friends and family circles, then there's beauty to such a life. Key is to go deeper within your consciousness and touch the pure conscience. With the help of transmission, yogic transmission we call pranahuti, meditation becomes deeper and deeper each time we practice it. So, what have we learned out of this? The key to happiness is to remain in tune with our inner purity, with our inner compassionate state, inner chambers of the pure heart. And when we remain pure and innocent like little children, then magical thing happens. One craves to go to heaven. The religions talk about our ascension into heaven. But such a heart, such a simple and pure heart, loving heart, when it is made so, the heavens descend. We don't have to go to heaven. Heaven itself descends into our heart. There is joy all the time.
There are times where in relationships you want to blame the other person for the failure of relationship. You want a divorce, but you don't want it to be called or be labeled that you are the cause of divorce. So you create such circumstances that the other person has no other choice but to divorce. These are really, really terrible things, where you are making the other person helpless. It is best to declare, I don't want to remain in this relationship. Modern days are filled with so many miseries, especially relationships breaking more so ever than any time in the history of India. Some people do argue that though many families used to live together, but they were being taken advantage of, and no one had the courage to leave each other because of the social stigma. Maybe right, maybe wrong. But through thick and thin, they raised a family. There were sad moments, of course, and there were happier moments as well. Whether you are having love marriage or arranged marriage, problems will always be there. Take it from a married man. It will always be there. The wisdom is how you put up with it, how you respond to every situation in a positive way. Sometimes problems, we can laugh it out. She curses you or he curses you, smile at it and move on. Don't take it too seriously. the other person you're going to build relationship with is not going to be an angel. There are no angels in this world. Are you perfect yourself? And so is the other person. Put up as long as you can. Accept it. Try to find solution together. And if that still doesn't work out, then of course you can always say, I did my best.